On today's video, we are reacting to the most popular chef in the world, Gordon Ramsay. Now, there is one thing that I love almost as much as steaks. That would be burgers. I cannot wait to see what he does with his. With all that being said, enough talking, let's begin.
Right, welcome home. I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing burger. And for me, the secret of burger is in the blend. So we've got chuck, we've got the most amazing ground beef, a little bit of brisket.
I am in 100% agreement of that. If you make your own blend for your burgers, it's gonna be so much better, everybody, instead of buying it directly from the grocery store. Now, obviously for convenience, you can go ahead and purchase it from it, but if you wanna have the best possible burger, making your own blend and grinding everything yourself, you have full control of everything. And most important, it will allow you to eat that burger medium rare. Because if you buy it from the grocery store, you have no idea where it comes from and you wanna cook it well done.
Try and get this done the day before. You get this done the day before, set them in the fridge so they stay nice and firm. That way they don't fall apart on the grill.
That's a great tip, making them a day before, that way they're nice and firm and they don't completely fall apart. Gordon has a master chef named Elliot, and he has a very unique technique, which is putting ice inside of a burger. And I'll tell you one thing, when you do that, it becomes so soft, the burger barely keeps it together. So putting it on the refrigerator first, keeping it nice and compact, great tip.
Grill, piping hot. A little touch of oil on the burger to start off with. This is a beautiful grapeseed oil. Make sure it's seasoned. Also, roll the seasoning around the edge of the burger.
Now, I want you to notice one thing that he just said. You want the grill piping hot. 99% of people make a huge mistake whenever they're cooking on a gas grill. And this is the reason why. They turn on every single burner to put the grill super hot. When you do that, you have no control of the grill. And this is the biggest mistake. Never have one zone, which is a hot zone and nothing else. You must always cook it with two zones. You have one that is extremely hot and one that is your safety net. Never turn on every single burner on hot.
Once you put a burger on the grill, the secret is to move it as less as possible. The more you move it, the more chance you've got of breaking the burger.
That is such a great tip. He's absolutely right. Don't want to move it immediately right away because the burger will completely fall apart. And yes, you want to start with the hottest part of the grill so that you can get that sear nice and quick.
Alongside my burger, I'm going to be toasting the buns. Why do we toast the buns? We toast the bun because there's nothing worse than the soggy bun. How many times you had a burger and the bun is wet?
Oh, he's so right. That's so nasty, everybody. You want a nice bun that it's crispy on the top. And I highly recommend using a little bit of butter to toast it. Toast your buns, very important.
Quick, in, toast those buns. What goes well with a burger? Great cheese, tomato, lettuce, a little bit of mustard mayonnaise, and then these beauties here, grilled onions. Peel the onion, slice them.
Damn, that's a thick onion.
Lightly season them, salt, pepper.
Wow, I love
Fresh
how
grilled
he
onions
seasons
on a
everything.
burger.
I've never seasoned my onions, everybody.
I'm a firm believer in toasting both sides of my bun, top and bottom.
You got a little bit of flare-ups over there, everybody. Flare-ups is actually okay. A lot of people think that it's not okay. It produces an incredible flavor. What that is just basically fat going down to the bottom on the heat source and creating flames and flavor, perfume, and deliciousness. It is fantastic for a steak and also incredible on a burger.
Now, look at that bun. Beautiful. Turn these beauties over. Wow.
That looks amazing, Chef Gordon. That looks incredible. I'm just gonna say that right now.
A busy grill is a delicious grill.
I agree 100%. A busy grill is a delicious grill.
You don't cook the burger and then set it up for dressing. You get set up first. So while the burger's cooking, you get everything done first. It's a really important tip. Why? It stops the burger going cold, and also you want to eat it when it's piping hot.
100% agree. Have all your mise en place done either before or as it's happening, everybody.
Now, at my burger restaurants in Las Vegas, we baste the burgers with Devonshire butter.
That is an amazing tip. I do that as well, everybody. Basting your patties with thyme, butter, and garlic is absolutely delicious. It literally reminds you of eating a steak when you're tasting the burger. It's incredible.
Today, we're just going to lightly brush a bit of butter onto the burgers. With that flame underneath, it sort of caramelizes the butter.
Yes! He said it. Most people don't say that. What that happens is whenever you're basting, what you want is the caramelization of the butter. You want the milk solids to stick to the burger. It just produces an incredible flavor. That's what you want.
Now, if you want to become even more...
Oh my God, that looks so good.
Make a red wine butter, a chipotle butter. This is the basic, amazing recipe for a great burger.
That is looking amazing, but before moving forward, let's go ahead and talk about today's sponsor, Air Up. With the holidays right around the corner, Air Up is the perfect holiday gift. Why, you might ask? Well, let me explain. Air Up is a brand new hydration system that flavors water through scent, with a unique system they call scent-based taste. How it works is simple. Pop on a flavor pod, lift the pod to activate it, and just drink. What you will taste is delicious flavored water, because that's what your brain thinks you're drinking. I know it sounds crazy, but it actually works. Personally, I struggle to drink enough water throughout the day. Normal water gets boring, but with Air Up, I find myself enjoying drinking tasty water and staying hydrated. And maybe you have loved ones that might feel the same way. So why not give them a gift with taste? Check them out on the link below and save up to 30% off with Air Up's holiday bundles. Start your holiday shopping early, only for a limited time. Thanks, Air Up, for sponsoring this video, but now back to the burgers.
Look at the color of those burgers. Notice how there's no shrinkage there because we've got the right amount of fat in there.
I did not know that, everybody, because if you have the right amount of fat, it doesn't shrink. I don't think that's actually true, because I cook a lot of burgers and a lot of times I use it to be smashed though, and then it kind of shrinks, but that's an interesting take. I did not know that. I just learned something new.
Now, before they come off the grill, lightly season them on the grill. Look.
He seasoned those burgers twice. I love that. If you want to have a nice, incredible steak and a nice, incredible burger, season them properly, everybody. Most people lose this step, and it's so crucial for something tasty.
30 seconds before those burgers come off, I'm going to put my nice, beautiful, rich cheddar cheese on top.
Cheddar cheese, nice.
On. Let's go there. Cheese on, on. Remember, we season underneath that, so the flavor inside is going to be incredible. First off, a little touch of mayonnaise.
This ingredient is actually controversial. Do you enjoy mayo or no, everybody? Put it in the comments down below, because I love mayo.
From there, take your lettuce and just lightly snap the lettuce, break that in half, and sort of manipulate the lettuce where it sits, literally, on your bun.
That way it's not going to get soggy. I agree.
From there, a nice slice of tomato.
He seasoned everything. He's not going to season the vegetables? I'm surprised.
Salt and pepper on that tomato. Lightly season it. Beautifully done. And look, here's where it goes up a level. Look at that cheese. That, come on, seriously, beautiful. On she goes. How do we elevate it even more? How do we take that to another level? Look at these. Come on, seriously. I mean, freshly grilled onions.
Oh.
To absolutely die for.
Oh, can you take a look at these little crispy onions, edges, a little char? Oh my God, I will eat the crap out of that. That looks amazing. Wow, I'm very impressed.
Be generous with those onions. There. I'm not a big fan of raw onion on a burger.
Yes, me neither. I don't like the taste of just straight up raw onions. If I do need to use it like in tacos or anything like that, I even give a light rinse, everybody, to take out that onion bitterness.
Look at this. Slice, 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 slice.
Let's see.
Down.
Is it raw in the middle? Is it raw? Come on, chef.
Take half of one. And then look.
Perfectly cooked. I mean, I have nothing bad to say except one thing. Stop roasting me, Chef Gordon Ramsay. Why do you keep roasting me every time? I have so much respect for you, but I would love to cook you a peanut butter steak, or maybe a Nutella steak, or the one that you love the most, mac and cheese steak. That one was really delicious. Remember what you said?
Oh, look at that. Looks like my granddad's slipper.
I learned a lot from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. I respect the pasta. He respect the meat. Put the salt on the meat, everybody. Put the salt on the meat.
Yep, that actually happened. Me schooling Italian chefs on steaks. And it was the last thing I thought was gonna happen on my Italy trip. But once my friend Vito made me aware of the sin that they're making to steaks, I had to investigate.
What do you think it's the number one problem that they have here?
They have several problems. That's what I learned from you. And then I think that the first mistake is they don't put seasoning, they don't put salt, they don't put pepper, they don't put garlic powder, they don't put any season, zero, completely zero. That's the first. Second is from the grill, they cut it right away. And the third thing is raw. Inside is raw. The steak in Italy sucks.
You heard it from the man.
From Italian guy.
On today's video, I'll be going to two different steakhouses to find out the real problem. The very first one will be in Bari, south of Italy, and the next one will be the #1 rated steakhouse in Florence, because there they serve the most famous Italian steak, bistecca alla Florentina. And when in Florence, you must have one. First up, the best steakhouse in Bari. It is called Saborosa, and I was quite shocked on the quality of meat that they have there.
See, Sam, it smells like
now
your office.
we're talking.
Here. Smells like your office here.
Yes, that looks incredible.
I was very impressed with the selection of beef. You already know you can find a lot of carbs in Italy, but the fact that this shop had so many variations, I was impressed. And you know it's a really good butcher shop when they have the queen, picanha. But not only that, he also showed me a dry-aged picanha. So he went ahead and asked me to cut some steaks out of it.
I'm gonna take a nice, beautiful cut here.
Mi piace più questo che Guga.
Wow. Two beautiful picanhas. Now we're gonna go ahead and trim it.
I want you to realize and understand one thing here. You see this yellow fat? This is a very important thing whenever you're buying beef. It's a sign of two things. Number one, that it's an older cow. And number two, it was mostly grass-fed. Here in the United States, we usually avoid it because it will never be as good as grain-fed.
You always want to leave a 1/4 inch. Never remove all of the fat out.
This is the biggest mistake most people make when trimming a picanha. They think the more fat they leave it, the better it's gonna be. And that will be wrong. A 1/4 inch, just like a brisket, is the perfect ratio. You don't want to bite in too much fat. But even though these are my favorite steaks, when in Italy, you must have bistecca Florentina. So they wanted me to try that as well. And you can clearly see that this one was dry-aged, to be specific, for 35 days. Next, to cook these steaks.
Cook it the way you cook it. Yes, we want to try the authentic Italian way. So the good thing is that he's going to cook it straight up right here on the grill, buddy, and it is a charcoal grill. All right.
I feel sorry when there's like this on the grill.
This is one of the biggest mistakes throughout this video. There is zero seasoning. And the reason why is not what you think. You will understand very shortly.
Immediately here you can see the yellow fat. And the yellow fat, that's what it means, that it is actually grass-fed. You can tell that also all the way back over there, nice and yellow. It's going to have a different flavor, a different mouthfeel. Now I'm excited to try it.
So he went ahead and finished up cooking the steak, serving it the most traditional way, which is called al sangre, also known as rare.
It's no salt, anything. They just serve it like this.
Oh, they give it to you, no salt at all?
Nothing. That's the problem.
No salt? What?
No comment.
Not only there's no seasoning, they don't let the steak rest at all and immediately cut it and serve it to you. But I'm sorry, I was not gonna eat any beef without salt, so I kindly asked him to add some.
You gotta have salt, everybody.
Grazie.
What do you think? What do you think, Vito, so far?
You know what I think.
Vito don't want to say, everybody, but here's the deal. See how they didn't render the fat? So the fat is not rendered. You definitely want to render that fat. If not, it's just going to be chewy and it's not the best mouthfeel. And that's the reason I really like to render that fat. If not, I will cut the fat out. Let's try it, Vito. I put a lot of seasoning. Cheers. You know what it reminds me? Meat from Brazil. Because meat from Brazil is mainly grass-fed.
Brazilian meat and Argentinian meat are quite similar. They're normally grass-fed, but don't get me wrong, they have both in these countries. And since grass-fed there is cheaper, it's mostly what is served to you, because the grain-fed, they send everything to the United States. But does it mean that this meat is bad?
The meat is good.
Yes.
But if you don't put salt, it's not going to be good.
I like it, but I think it's too plain for me.
At this stage, I had all eyes on me, and he asked me how I will cook it differently than the way that he did.
If he caramelizes the fat, that there's no caramelization on the fat. If you caramelize the fat, it's going to be so much better.
How do you caramelize the fat?
So
you cook the fat, put the part.
So when you start the picanha, he immediately put it on the grill, like on the side like this. Don't do that. Instead of starting with the meat, start with the fat. So caramelize the fat, get a golden brown color on the fat, and it will become butter.
But I was still confused why they don't use any salt or seasoning at all.
How come they don't put salt? I don't understand.
Perché non mettete il sale, dice?
Quindi che qualcuno lo vuole, se lo mette a
Some people they don't want it. People don't want salt.
That's not possible. I think they think that way. If they put it without people knowing, will people say that it's too salty? You think so?
This conversation went on for quite some time.
We're having a salt debate, everybody. Put it in the comments down below. Do you season your meat with salt or you eat your meat with no salt? What? What?
But what was said next completely shocked me.
Why he say?
He's talking about what the cow eats. He said that the cow in USA they eat more. It's more sweet. For him, the cow here it's already salted, basically.
I respect the pasta. He respect the meat. Put the salt on the meat, everybody. Put the salt on the meat.
This is one of the most ludicrous things I've ever heard in my life. The cow is naturally salted? Come on now. Beef are all the same. Yes, they do have different flavors, but salt is a flavor enhancer, not a flavor modifier like rubs or sauces.
For the seasoning thing, he said that unfortunately here people, they want it like this, with nothing.
So let me tell you something, okay? All the Italians, hear me out, right? You teach me how to eat pizza.
Yes.
You teach me how to eat pasta. I teach you how to eat meat. Season the meat before, okay? You have to season your meat. If you don't put seasoning on your meat, it's not gonna taste as good. Also, you don't wanna eat it raw. You want it medium rare. It's better. I can eat raw meat, it's no problem. But you have to cook it properly and season it before.
They eat the meat here raw.
I understand. If you enjoy it, it's totally fine. But it's not the optimum way. There's many different ways to eat pasta. You don't have to cook al dente if you don't want to. But the right way, what's the right way?
You have to cook it al dente.
You have to cook it al dente. That's the correct way for you to enjoy it. Same thing with the meat. If you like eating raw meat, everybody, it's totally fine. But it's good. Can it be better? Yes, it can be better.
Yes, I've dedicated the last 10 years of my life researching and experimenting on how to make the best steaks possible. And I've learned a lot. And if there's one important thing, is to season it properly. But then the steak Florentina arrived.
Here we have the bistecca Florentina, everybody. I believe that this would be the filet mignon side. Let me try. The picanha is so much better than the Florentina. Try the Florentina. Overcooking the meat is not a good thing. They definitely didn't overcook it, but sometimes they cook it a little bit too raw.
But this is not where they specialize on bistecca Florentina, as that is coming up next because I'm gonna go all the way to Florence. So on our way to our next steakhouse, my good friend Vito said that when you come to Bari, you must try a delicacy. I thought he was trolling me, but I went in with an open mind.
È possibile ordinare le orecchiette con la braciola?
Certo.
I don't know what you said, but yes.
We just ordered the orecchiette, typical plate, one plate, un piatto, just the tasting.
Yes, sounds good. Let's go.
Sit. Here we go.
Wow.
Questo è un tipico piatto barese, orecchiette con la braciola.
Orecchiette with braciola. Sounds delicious to me. Now, one of the things that I learned about Italy is that each region has their own specialty on pasta, and Bari is no different. This is what they specialize in, and I went to meet the master to see how it was made.
Buongiorno.
Grazie. So she's making it now, the orecchiette.
It's just water, huh?
Water and semolina.
With only 2 ingredients, you can really see how expert she is. She makes it look like it's nothing. In the end, you are left with this beautiful traditional pasta from Bari. This is the typical dish from Bari. It looked delicious to me, but I was in for a big surprise.
Split that thing in half. Look at this. Get the fork. Oh, look,
Oh,
tender it is.
soft and tender. Not
Yes.
crunchy.
No, no crunchy.
Cheers, brother.
Change.
Oh, the tomato sauce is so good. And the meat is delicious.
It's not big.
It's not beef? Wait, what? What do you mean it's not beef?
Give me a vote to this meat.
So, strong.
Strong flavor.
Delicious flavor. Very tender, very juicy.
Melt.
Is this horse meat?
It is also.
It is horse meat. It's good.
What?
But I didn't think I was going to be eating horse.
I was not expecting to have this kind of meat in Bari. But I must be honest with you, it tastes very similar to beef, just stronger. But now it was time to head over to Florence, maybe one of the most beautiful cities in Italy. And if you're a beef lover like me, it's a city you must visit, because we all know Italy is full of carbs, so it's nice to go ahead and stack up on some protein.
Mi credette di affogare e voglio bene assai.
Welcome to Florence, everybody. We are here to try one thing and one thing only. That would be steak alla Florentina. I'm really hoping that it's going to be okay because I've heard terrible things. You guys already saw it. So my hopes are not very high. But at the same time, I cannot come to Florence and not have this wonderful and very famous steak. I just hope I'm not disappointed because when you're in Italy, you want to eat some good food. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm excited. Let's see. So the first thing I did was to go to Guga and find out the best steakhouse there is. And this was the winner, Trattoria del Oste. Not only does he have almost perfect score, it has over 24,000 reviews. And on my way there, I came across something incredible, which I thought it was just a painting. So when I saw this on many videos, pictures, I thought it was just painted, everybody, but that is 100% made out of stone. It is a beautiful city, but let's eat. Yep, Florence is beautiful, and this definitely stands out from everything else. But it was now time to get to the trattoria. So we just arrived. They have a meat case. I even see that they have Wagyu as well. I gotta be honest, the restaurant looks pretty interesting, everybody. It looks pretty good.
12 seconds later.
We're waiting for 40 minutes, and I had reservations, everybody. Not looking good. Why do you need a reservation if you're gonna have to wait anyway? After the long wait, I got in. And I gotta say, this is a beautiful restaurant. The decor is 10 out of 10. And they also have a picture of someone very important. So that is the father of barbecue in Brazil, everybody. And the fact that he has them there is incredible. This is Marcos Bassi, a Brazilian that has taught many people on how to cook things properly. It made me extremely happy to see that. Well, one good thing here is that they don't have a picture of Salt Bay. That's good. That's very good. So after sitting down at my table and looking through the menu, I asked to talk to the chef because I had a very important question. How does Italian people like their meat?
So in Florence, usually it's like we prefer rare, but in different parts of Italy, it's like in the south of Italy, we prefer medium well. I know we cook the steak.
Medium well?
Medium well.
How does he cook it? With charcoal or does he cook it with electric grill in the back?
Gas.
How do you season the meat?
Diretta, poi il sale alla fine lo mettiamo.
No, so you don't season the meat at all, so he just put the salt in the end. Is that how he cooks it?
Yes.
Does he feel like that's the best way?
He thinks it's the best because you can taste the real meat.
I respectfully disagree that you should season the meat. So I don't want anything special. I want it exactly the way that he makes it.
Okay.
What does the chef recommend? What do I order?
Because you are in Florence, you should try the Chianina steak because it's a local beef.
Chianina beef. It is an Italian breed of cow. This is what it looks like. And it is served throughout many steakhouses in Italy. And I had one last question to ask.
How are you going to cook it?
Al sangue.
Rare, al sangue.
Rare, okay. Cook it the Italian way. Are you going to season it?
Cose sopra oppure no? No.
Okay. All right. We're getting what the chef recommended, everybody. That's it. Let's go. Usually Italian has steaks with wine. I wanted a local beer. Funny enough, they served it to me on a wine glass. There was nothing wrong with that. And of course, appetizers started arriving. And the very first one was this. It's a bruschetta with ragu on top. I think this is their specialty. I'll be honest with you, everybody. This looks very appetizing. They have plenty of meat in there, which is a good thing. Let's give this bruschetta a try. That just hits the right spot, everybody. I think all bruschetta should be like this, made with beef. Forget the tomato and balsamic like normally we do. This is the way to do it right. That was a fantastic bruschetta. And what we order next might be even better because, I mean, take a look at it. Who does not love spaghetti and meatballs? Let's give this a go. Cheers.
Oh, wow.
If you come to this restaurant, eat this. Damn, this is good. That's a 10 out of 10. Unlike the spaghetti and meatballs that we have here in the US, take a look at the size of these balls. They are much smaller, and also the spaghetti is much thicker. This was absolutely delicious. A true 10 out of 10 for me, because the next dish we got looked a little sus. They went ahead and brought another pasta for my wife. This one here is garganelli with white ragu. It looks very interesting, the shape of the pasta. I've never seen anything like this before. It's my first time. But nevertheless, white ragu. What makes it white ragu? That's interesting. I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's see. Oh, very mild flavor, a little bit meaty, a little bit cheesy, but most importantly, it has meat, so it's good. But definitely the meatball is a lot better. If you come to Italy, you must have pasta. But I'll be honest with you, I was looking forward to the steak. Enough about the carbs. Let's get some protein. Wow, what a nice presentation. It looks very good, honestly. And it does seem rare. Salt? Very good. So this man gave me some ketchup, everybody. I was a little bit shocked. That is completely raw. It is completely raw, everybody. I mean, as raw as it gets. Now I'll say this, okay? There is nothing wrong about eating raw meat. I could just ate it when the chef brought it over here. But it's chewy, everybody. It's not the best way. Look at this. I'm trying to cut this steak and it takes a while to cut it. And if you notice, there's a piece of silver skin there in the middle. That's gonna be super chewy and not very good. Let's give this a go right now. Definitely with a little bit of salt. Give it a try. I'll be honest, everybody. It is not the best way to cook a steak. I mean, I don't think the beef has any issues at all. The beef is good. It's completely raw. I'm basically eating like beef tartare, not the optimum way to cook it. I want you to be the judge. Would you eat it like this? Is this the optimum way of having beef? Let me show you why the bistec of Fiorentina is not the best kind of steak, okay? Because as you know, there are two types of steaks. One is a New York strip and the other one is a filet mignon. A filet mignon cooked at different temperature as a New York strip. So you have to be really, really careful. And when you're cooking the whole thing together, one will get more cooked than the other. Let me show you. Check out the filet mignon, everybody. Even though that was rare, you see, that's why this steak is not my favorite. But let's see. It's very tender, it's very good, but there's no seasoning. Thank you, my love. My wife just passed me the salt. It's tender, even though it's cooked a little bit longer. I actually like this a little bit more pleasant than the rare version. This one is much better. Again, I have no problem with rare beef. Look at this. Medium rare. It's cooked a little bit longer. It's gonna be more tender. It's gonna be juicier. Now let me tell you something about the local beef. It's not as fatty, okay? So it has less marbling, but it's very good.
This local beef is delicious. Obviously, it's not going to be well marbled and high quality like a Wagyu steak, but it is something local and something the chef definitely got it right recommending it to me. Here are the biggest issues I had with this steak. Number one, it was al sangre, also known as raw. It is not the best way to have a steak. That's because it's slightly chewy and the flavor is extremely mild. On that note, you already know that they don't season the steak at all. And when you put salt on top of the steak, that is just superficial, because instead of having the whole thing flavored with salt, it's just that little top part. And I truly believe that's not the best way. If you want to know the best way to salt your steak, that would be to salt brine it, which is to leave it overnight. But I understand for restaurants that's unacceptable, as they gotta cook the steaks to order. Lastly, this steak was not cooked on charcoal, but I'm not gonna hold that against them, because not every steakhouse is able to have that luxury. And I just hope that moving forward, all chefs that cook steak use a thermometer. It is the only true way to know the exact core temperature of your steak. Medium rare will produce a juicier steak, a better overall mouthfeel, and the customers will like it 10 times more. Another important thing to talk about is the fat. You must render that fat properly. Believe me when I tell you, properly rendered fat sometimes tastes better than the actual steak. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned something new, because I definitely did. Italians, you guys are master at pasta. And I hope you start seasoning your steak, because I'll be back.
See you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. On today's video, we're going to be reacting to the OG of barbecue on YouTube. I'm talking about Malcolm Reed. He has cooked many things, and I'll be honest, when I first started YouTube, I've learned a lot from him. Some of the things that he cooks is just absolutely delicious, and my mouth waters every time. And today he's cooking a huge tomahawk steak, and I cannot wait to see. Enough talking about it, let's begin.
Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I'm Malcolm Reed. Today we're going to be cooking this tomahawk ribeye. I mean, check this out. 3.5 pounds, prime Angus beef. The marbling looks awesome. You know it's going to be good.
Let me just say this. He has the best accent ever, everybody. He's just a welcome accent. I just love to listen to him. Now, I do have a few things to say about this tomahawk. Notice that it's not only 3 pounds, it's a thick boy. And that's what you want whenever you're cooking a nice, beautiful steak like this. I used to think that cooking thick steaks is not a good idea, because I was just thinking cook a steak just for me. But I've learned with time that you can cook one steak for multiple people. And I'm pretty sure that's the case here.
Giant ribeye steak, still on the rib bone. They French it back to where it creates this handle on it, and you've just got a behemoth of a piece of beef here.
Now I want you to notice one thing. Pay attention to a little bit of oxidation on top of the steak. That is totally fine. It's normal. I've actually done a crazy experiment about oxidations on steaks, and believe it or not, it's just looks, because the taste is not going to be modified whatsoever. The important thing here is to make sure that the beef is fresh. If you smell and it smells okay, it's good. If you smell it and it's nasty, move on and grab something else.
First thing that I'm going to do to this tomahawk ribeye is get some salt, pepper, and garlic on it. I want to get that base foundation flavor.
Hell yeah.
Great for this. we're just gonna season all sides of it.
I love it, everybody. Salt, pepper, and garlic powder. He knows exactly what to do. That's what I'm talking about.
Make sure you get the edges. All that fat's gonna cook down and give it some great flavor.
I want you to notice how much he actually seasoned that steak, which is quite a bit. Remember, a lot of that steak will get stuck to the grill grate or a cast iron skillet, and you're gonna lose a lot of that seasoning. So make sure you season your steak properly.
Needs about 30 minutes setting out at room temperature. You don't have to stick it back in the refrigerator. It's gonna start working on this beef. It's gonna penetrate it. We're gonna get some of that flavor deep down in it.
That's a great tip right there, letting the salt penetrate nicely and deeply into the meat if you can give it 30 minutes. But if you wanna do it even better, leave it overnight. What happens? First, the salt actually draws out moisture from the steak. Then the steak reabsorbs that just like a sponge, seasoning the whole thing all the way through. That is, if you leave it overnight, it is called dry brine.
Fire up my PK 360, and I'm just gonna use a charcoal of Royal Oak briquettes. Got a couple wax cubes to get the fire going. It's gonna take about 15 minutes. These coals will be fire hot. Once those coals are getting hot, just dump them in. And we're gonna set up a 2-zone fire today in the PK.
I used to use the charcoal chimney quite a bit, everybody. It works fantastic, but it takes, like he said, about 15 minutes for you to light up your charcoal. If you can get your hands on a flamethrower, everybody, it's going to cut down from 15 minutes to 4 minutes. And it's fully lit just like this. Plus, on top of that, I'll be honest with you, the flamethrower is just fun. And as you can clearly see, he's doing 2-zone cooking. That is the key of any grill. Regardless if you have a gas grill or a charcoal grill, you must have a safety net to put the steaks if the thing starts getting out of hand.
I'm gonna put all the coals over on one side, and this is gonna be our searing side, and then we're gonna have a cool side to slow things down to really cook this tomahawk all the way through.
See how he stacked charcoal on top of each other? Most people don't put enough charcoal and they just put one layer. The more charcoal you stack on top of each other, the more heat it's gonna produce, giving you a nice quick sear, and that's what you want.
Now we're ready to put the grate in place, and right on top of that, I'm setting a set of grill grates. I've got a little cooking spray.
Oh no!
Nice and hot. They're gonna be ready for that steak in just a second.
Are you guys familiar with that? That's the grill, seared mark, grates, whatever it might be. And if you don't know how I feel about sear marks, you're about to find out real shortly.
Okay, our tomahawk's been hanging out for about 30 minutes while we got that PK fired up.
Nice.
And you can see it's already starting to work on the outside of the meat. It's pulling some of that moisture out. It's kind of making that rub a little tacky. It's gonna give it a great little crust on top when we get it over on those hot grill grates. The next thing I'm gonna do to it, right before we put it on the grill, is hit it with a little coarse rub. And I'm using my steak rub. Hey, you can use any kind of flavors you want to season a tomahawk steak like this. If you like simple salt and pepper, go for it. Make this recipe your own.
I love that he tells you to keep it your own. I'm not a huge fan of adding additional seasoning on top of the salt, pepper, and garlic powder. You can, but be very careful if you're adding any rub that has sugar. Sugar burns and it's just gonna ruin your steak if you don't pay attention. But there's nothing wrong with that. You can add anything you like. I'm a salt, pepper, and garlic powder purist.
I'm just going with a layer of this coarse ground steak rub. You don't have to get real heavy with it, but it creates a nice bark too. It gives a little crunch on top as those flavors cook.
That is very true.
I mean, this is a man steak right here. I'm ready to get this ribeye.
That's a men's steak, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, the PK should be good and hot. I want to see at least 600 degrees at great level. I'm just going to use my new thermopin here. I'm saying 620. That's perfect. I mean, this is going to be
That's good, hot enough.
Ready for that ribeye. Saying 622, 630. We're ready to put this thing on.
So having a thermometer to check or also a thermometer gun is a great tool to have. And if you don't, in Brazil, what we do is we put our hands on top of the charcoal. If you can hold it there just for 1 second and you gotta immediately take it off before getting burned, that's how you know it's hot enough. 1 second or maybe even half a second. Whoa! It's ready to go. If you can hold it for 2 seconds there, you need more charcoal.
I'm just gonna lay it right on the rack, kind of at an angle. And we're gonna press down, make sure we get some good contact. And then we need to set a timer. We're looking for about 2.5 minutes, and then we're gonna put that twist on it. So let's get the lid closed, get a timer going, and we'll be right back. All right, we're looking at 2.5 minutes. It's time to put a little twist on this tomahawk. I'm just gonna do it like this, ease it up, get it right over on this hot side. And we're gonna mash it right back down. Go ahead and put some gloves on, because you know it's gonna be hot. Close it down, Set that timer for another 2.5 minutes.
He's trying to get those grill marks, everybody. I'm so against this method here because it does look nice and something that you would see on a poster, but in overall flavor and taste is just not my thing. I just much rather a nice golden brown color overall throughout the steak versus pieces of burnt steak, just to make sure that it's pleasing to the eye.
All right, we've been a total of 5 minutes. It's time to flip this tomahawk, get the other side marked up a little bit. Just gonna grab it. Check that out. That is beautiful.
I would like for you to take a closer look at that, everybody. Take a look at that. Do you see the golden brown pieces between the burned grill marks? That is delicious. It's called Maillard reaction. Basically, the sugars are caramelizing and creating the brown thing that we all love. It includes in a lot of things that you cook, like butter, bread. That is delicious. The char from the grill marks does almost nothing but the looks, and it doesn't taste good. And if you overdo it, it's bitter. It's not my thing.
Get the lid closed. We're gonna go another 2.5 minutes. All right, we're gonna put another little twist on this side.
I mean, take a look at that, everybody. I think it's burnt. It's just burnt. Why is it burnt? Don't burn the steak, man.
Press it down, get some good grill contact. Get the lid closed fast. Looking good. All right, so our steak's been seared on all sides now. I'm just gonna take it off and check this out. I mean, it's
show it to me. Makes me mad, everybody. It makes me mad. Look at it. Look between the burn marks. I mean, no.
The steak over on the indirect side. We're just gonna lay it over here, let the bone hang out. That's okay.
That's fantastic. He's cooking it in indirect heat. So what I would have done differently is I completely get rid of that grill mark, tool, griddle, whatever you want to call it, okay? Then instead of having the steak there for 2 minutes and 30 seconds like he said, I would do it for only 30 seconds each, flipping constantly until I get a visual cue of a nice golden brown color that I'm happy with. That will produce a much better tasting steak. I guarantee you, everybody, I promise you, it will be better. Another thing that I would do it differently is I would also sear the fat a little bit. He doesn't have that option with that grill thing, whatever it's called, because if he sears the fat there, it's just gonna completely burn. He knows that. So he's trying to use the indirect heat to render out a little bit of that fat. But if you do the flip method, you are actually able to manipulate the golden brown crust of the fat as well.
It's right there. The steak fits right on it. And in our bottom drip pan, I'm gonna start melting some butter. Got a little butter going down.
Oh, hell yes!
It's butter, thyme, garlic, babe. That's what I'm talking about.
Thyme, some rosemary in there. Then I've got about a head of garlic. All that's gonna mix, catch the drippings of this steak. And don't forget, I'm gonna add a little olive oil. I'm using a chef alarm, and I've got a probe that I'm just gonna stick in a thick part of this ribeye. I wanna go right dead center of the loin part of the ribeye.
Use a thermometer. Always use a thermometer.
We'll get it off about 125 and then let it rest. We're gonna keep the lid closed and we're just gonna watch it cook. It's gonna climb up slow, and that's what we wanna see. All right, let's check and see if the butter's melted here.
That is looking nice, but take a look at the grill marks again. Why is grill marks so popular? That should be the title of this video. And grill marks for life.
Well, we're already up to about 85 degrees internal. Got a little ways to go. Bone's looking good. It's down here. Now it's over the hot area still, so if it starts getting too dark, we can always put just a little bit of aluminum foil over it to protect it. Right now, I'm just gonna let it go. It's looking good. Get the lid closed. We're just gonna keep on cooking. Y'all keep watching. All right, you can see our chef alarm, 125. This is where I want it to be. 126 is fixing to pop. What I'm gonna do is verify it now. We get my new thermopin out here.
He's double checking it, everybody. He's double checking. I like that.
You can see 125, 127, 126. It's holding, it's matching that chef alarm. 126, perfect now. I know it's there. I'm gonna give it one last baste here. We've got all that good steak juice that's dropped down in our pan. Mixed with that butter, those herbs, that garlic, olive oil. I mean, check that out. This dude's screaming hot. You can hear it sizzle. I'm gonna set it down. So I'm just letting this tomahawk ribeye hang out on the board. It needs 5-10 minutes minimum to rest.
I love that he says 5-10 minutes minimum. You don't want to let it rest for like, you know, an hour or 30 minutes. A lot of people say that rest your steak the same amount of time it took you to cook. That is a thick cut of steak and maybe took him about 40 minutes or 30 minutes to cook. If you let that steak rest for 40 minutes, that thing is going to be cold, everybody. 5-minute rest, maximum 10 minutes is good enough.
We want it to stay juicy inside. If I cut right into it, you know, we'd lose all that. We seared it on all sides for about 2.5 minutes each turn.
Take a look at that steak, everybody. Notice that where it's actually golden brown towards the edges is better than the middle. If that whole thing was nice golden brown, would have been amazing.
So I can't take it anymore. It's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna have to cut this steak up.
That's the hard part. Letting it rest sometimes is so difficult. It's so difficult.
Is just take my knife and follow the bone. We're going right down it. I mean, take it
Nice.
right off. We'll put that bone to the side. You know there's some good stuff there. But look at that piece of steak. I mean, don't you just want to eat that spinalis? All that fat that was right there around the edge, it's gotten real crispy. I'm gonna cut it right where we had it probed.
So here's what happened there. When he was cooking in indirect heat, it was actually quite hot. It should be a little bit lower temperature to cook it more evenly. That's why the fat is kind of like charred up. That's another thing that I would have done it a little bit differently. Cook it in a little bit lower heat.
Let's see how we did. And check that out. That is just beautiful. I'm gonna cut up this front piece.
Now I want you to notice one thing here. It looks like it's medium and not medium rare, but that's because of lighting, camera lighting. Whenever you see a video online and you see that there's a lot of blue reflecting, blue is the enemy of red. So it's basically contradicting the colors, and that's why it doesn't look so pink. But by experience, I can tell you that's perfect medium rare.
And this is awesome. I'm gonna get a piece right here. I know it's going to be tender as it could be.
And then?
Wow. That is incredible tasting beef. I mean, it's just got so much flavor. I mean, you get the salt, the pepper, all the seasons we put on the outside, but with a tomahawk like this, you really taste the beef. It's cooked perfect.
Damn, I'm salivating right now. I will eat that like there's no tomorrow, everybody. That looks absolutely delicious. Would I do it differently? Yes, you already know, and I already made points out of it. But damn, let me tell you this. That looks incredible. It looks phenomenal. He enjoys the grill marks. That's totally fine. It is cooked to perfection, even though like it looks like it's overcooked because of lighting, but it's cooked perfectly. I can tell you immediately, and there's nothing wrong with that steak. That is why Malcolm Reed is the OG of barbecue on YouTube, everybody. If you are watching this video, Malcolm, I would love to collaborate with you, make a video together. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see that, because this guy here is a hero. He has taught so many people how to do things properly. And even though we might not agree on everything in the grill marks, but besides that, that is a phenomenal steak. I will eat that every single day if I could, everybody. My doctor might not like it, but I would. That is phenomenal. Let us know in the comments down below if you want to see a collaboration happen, because this guy is awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks Dalstrong for sponsoring this video.
On today's video, we're gonna see how binging with Babish schooled me on cooking better burgers. Now, if you don't know Andrew, he is a YouTube sensation. With his YouTube channel based on TV shows and movie food, he is a hit. Enough talking, here's Babish.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Basics with Babish, where this week we're doing burgers and fries. Do I really have to do like a whole sales pitch? Let's get down to basics. Alright guys, so the first thing we need to do is start the French fry making process. This means peeling and slicing some potatoes. So we're going to start by peeling the potatoes, duh, and then slicing into planks, and then into almost French.
Thought he was going to cut his finger there for a second, everybody. Oof, scared me a little bit. Make sure you always put your fingers backwards and don't hold it like that, because I'll tell you one thing. I've chopped my fingers a few times. Be careful, everybody. Safety is always #1 priority.
Then we're immediately dropping these bad boys into some 375° Fahrenheit peanut oil. That is my deep frying oil of choice. If you have an allergy to peanuts, try canola or vegetable. You might be saying now, hey, Babish, those fries aren't done. To which I would respond, I know, and that's not my real name. What we're doing is freezing the fries after par frying. This is going to crystallize their interiors and make them extra fluffy after a second fry.
I'm the type of person that thinks that if you make French fries at home, you're completely wasting your time. Because I'll tell you one thing, getting the frozen bag, which is already kind of pre-cooked for you has almost no difference. And sometimes it's even better to get those than you starting from scratch. Because if you refry them, it's gonna be crispier. But maybe that's just me. Let me know if you agree.
While those guys are freezing for at least 4 hours, it's time to address maybe one of the top two most important parts of burger and fries, the burger. I've got my preferred selection of meats here for grinding. I've got short rib, brisket, and sirloin.
That is a beautiful combination because every single one of those cuts has flavor. Short rib also has incredible marbling, and the brisket, we all know that's why we love it in barbecue, everybody. But it is a very tough cut. That's why we cook it slowly. But when you combine it with burgers, grinding everything up, it's just top notch.
They're all bringing something different to the table, be it fattiness, minerality, or beefiness. And they're gonna come together to make a really flavorful, fatty, beautiful burger. First thing we gotta do is get rid of the bone in the short rib. If you have a bone-in short rib, best to buy these boneless because you're going to get more meat and you have to do less butchery. Once you've removed the bone, trim off any silver skin that you see because this stuff will not break down. It'll be chewy bits in your burger and you don't want that. And then start cutting it into 1-inch strips that we're going to then cut crosswise into about 1 to 2 inch chunks, which will be perfect for our meat grinder.
That is a great tip right there because before I used to make just long strips to go ahead and grind my meat and it would get stuck. The 1 inch to 2 inches cube is perfect for the grinder.
On the brisket, this is nothing but fat. We can hang on to all this. As long as your knife cuts relatively easily through it.
Wait, did he say that's nothing but fat? There's not a lot of fat there.
Now there is some silver skin hiding in the middle of our sirloin. So we're going to pull it apart at the seam to reveal the dastardly little devil hiding inside.
You definitely want to remove as much silver skin as you possibly can because what will happen is that is going to get stuck on your grinder, everybody, and it's a nightmare. Remove the silver skin.
It's time to place all this on a parchment-lined baking sheet and freeze for 15 to 20 minutes to firm up the meat for the meat grinder.
You definitely want to put it in the freezer because if you don't, your meat will start smearing when you're grinding it. It's not going to give the same texture, and a lot of times it just becomes a paste. But I also noticed that on his tray, there was not a lot of fat, everybody. And whenever you make burgers, you gotta have more fat, man. More fat, more flavor.
During which time we can get our burger accoutrement ready.
What did he say?
During which time we can get our burger accoutrement ready.
Accoutrement? Accoutrement? I gotta go back to English lessons, everybody. I don't even know what that means.
Very thinly slice some tomatoes. I like them about a quarter of the width of a sheet of paper and a few slices of...
I don't like how he's chopping up the vegetables. He makes me scared. See how his fingers are just like that? That's just an accident waiting to happen. It happened to me. I'm telling you. Grab it like this, not like this, like this.
Last but not least, some iceberg lettuce. This is the only kind of lettuce that belongs on a burger because it is nearly flavorless. We're going to simply shred it by cutting it in half, removing the core, and then cutting into thin slices down the length of the lettuce half, and then cutting crosswise into perfect little burger-sized shreds.
I can tell you immediately, if I start doing a burger like this for my nephew Angel, he's not gonna eat it, everybody. And we all know why. Oh, my friend. Oh, my friend. Oh, you are eating vegetables. Yes, you are.
And that's what I like to top a burger with. Put whatever you want on there, but I reserve the right to judge you. Like if you didn't put special sauce on there, I'd think that you were a real, true weirdo. And special sauce is simple enough to make. Simply mix together equal parts ketchup and mayo, maybe half cup each. Add a good sprinkling of garlic powder and onion powder. Then I like to add a little bit of smoked paprika, but you could use regular paprika if you don't want too much of a smoky vibe going on. A heaping helping of sweet relish, and that's about it. Just mix the whole thing together. Even if you just mix together equal parts ketchup and mayo, it's a delicious sauce to put on a burger.
I agree 100%. Always make your sauce ahead of time. Burger sauce, besides just putting ketchup and mustard and mayo by itself, I would have put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in there as well. Making your own sauce takes your burger to a whole nother level.
Give it a little taste, make sure it's good, of course it is. And then it's time to get down to the business of meat grinding. Now, I've had my grinder parts chilling in the freezer with the meat for a little bit longer, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to make sure everything's really super cold. This prevents the beef from smearing when we push it through the feed hole. That's what it is called. You can see that our beef is all firmed up after about 20 minutes in the freezer, and avoiding the spinning wheel of death on the bottom of our stand mixer, we're going to start feeding the beef into the grinder.
Oh man, the KitchenAid. I started using the KitchenAid when I started grinding my own meat, everybody. But I'll tell you one thing, it is not powerful enough. Nowadays, they have a very inexpensive machines where you can get it in Amazon. You can also, if you're trying to save space and not buy an extra machine, just use a food processor. And if you really want to get inexpensive with it, just use a cleaver and cut everything down, everybody. A cleaver will actually do a much better job than the KitchenAid. But before moving forward, I want to thank today's sponsor, Dowstrong. Throughout my YouTube career, I have sliced through thousands of steaks. All that slicing requires a super sharp and reliable knife. That's why I always turn to Dowstrong Shogun Series knives, an elite professional knife series built to be put to work all day long. But this is a lot more than a workhorse. It's a warhorse. I use this slicer knife every single day, and it's still in excellent condition. No matter the protein, this blade cuts through it like butter. Plus, the Shogun series is huge, more than 60 knife shapes, and available in as many as 9 different handle colors. With all the videos and crazy experiments I do, I need a knife I can trust. A knife that can cut through steaks, brisket, or whatever else craziness I'm making, like it was a sheet of paper. And for that reason, I like to use Dowstrong. It is my knives of choice for years, and I use it every single day. If you guys are interested, check them out in the link in the description down below. So thanks, Dowstrong, for sponsoring this video, but now let's get right back to it.
A few pieces at a time, pushing the beef down the tube with whatever included baseball bat or nightstick the grinder came with, and watch the meat cascade gleefully out the medium-sized grind plate, which I think is the best size for ground beef for burgers. Make sure there's no gray stuff coming out, which might indicate that your grinder is grinding metal.
Great information. If you see any black stuff coming out, any great stuff coming out from your grinder, stop immediately and assess the situation, because that can be a variety of things. That is a great tip. Take it seriously.
And take a moment to appreciate the beautiful, pebbly ground beef that you're able to achieve when you grind your own meat at home.
It's only missing a little bit more fat. I would add more.
So now we're going to start gently pressing these into 4.5 to 5 ounce patties. I'm going for a solid 3rd pounder burger, but make them as thick as you want. It's your house.
So I like the way that he formed his patty. He didn't compress them too much. If you compress them too much, it doesn't become soft and tender when you take bites and the texture completely change. Just make sure whenever you're forming your burger, you don't overdo it and pack them up. You want the inside of the burgers to have crevices so that the fat can melt and baste it in its own juices.
Once we've got the burgers formed, they can chill out in the fridge while we finish up our fries. We've got the oil reheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and we've got our rock solid fries out the freezer and into the oil. The initial fry was for about 8 minutes. This is going to be from 4 to 6 minutes.
Gotta take the fryer out, gotta deal with the oil, gotta deal with all of that, and in the end, the results is not better than the ones that you buy from the frozen aisle, everybody. It is just not better. It's not worth it.
As soon as you've let these guys drain for 30 seconds to 1 minute, we're going to put them immediately into a bowl and toss them with a healthy sprinkle of kosher salt. Go ahead and taste one to make sure that it's not poison, maybe 2 just to be extra safe.
It's not poison.
Let's move over back to the patties, whom are receiving a generous sprinkling of kosher salt and freshly ground pepper. Do not ever salt your burgers before you form the patties. Please don't ever let me catch you doing this. Now, one of the most important things you guys know that I love to do and that you should do for every burger that you ever make is toast your buns in some butter, please.
Yep, 100%.
I'm sorry I'm being so emphatic right now, but these things are important. Get a nice golden toast going on in there, add some vegetable oil to your cast iron skillet, and get that guy ripping hot.
So he just add the oil and nothing else. So what I like to do whenever I cook anything on my cast iron skillet, not only do I put the oil, but I also move the oil around and let it get it super hot. Always preheat your cast iron very well.
Let this sit over medium-high heat for a solid 3 to 4 minutes until a beautiful crust has formed on one side and you can see a little bit of cooked brownness creeping up the side of the patty.
I would have used a little bit more oil in order to fry up and get a nice even brownness.
Some American cheese. Hate on American cheese all you like, it is the best cheese for burgers.
I agree, everybody. American cheese is the best. Call it plastic, call it processed cheese, call it whatever you want. But on a burger, it's just perfect.
Then we're going to add about a tablespoon of water and cover the burger, allowing the cheese to melt and helping the burger cook more evenly. I mean, come on, look at that. Use an instant read thermometer to determine if you've cooked your burger to your desired degree of doneness. And
Great
it's
tip.
Time to plate up. Onto a waiting bed of lettuce, we're going to deposit our patty. Always best to put the lettuce underneath the burger, as this helps prevent the lettuce from wilting. And then top with our tomato, onion, special sauce, the top of the bun, bottom of the bun if you want to be extra special. Top the whole thing up and serve along with your Frenched fries. And there you have it, one very serious homemade burger and fries. Now it's time, of course, for the requisite cross-section. I'm going to show you 3 levels of acceptable doneness. Let's start with Medium, that's where you're taking the burger off the heat at about 135 degrees Fahrenheit, letting it rest until it hits maybe 140.
If you grind your own meat, having it medium or medium rare is totally okay, but if you're buying it from the grocery store already pre-grounded, make sure you cook it to well done.
Then for slightly braver souls, there's rare, where we're taking it off at 120.
By the way, a rare burger is just not good for me. It doesn't taste well, the texture is just mushy. I much rather medium rare or medium.
And then the sweet spot, medium rare, 125 to 130 degrees, tender, juicy, delicious. If you're freaking out about beef cooked below USDA recommended doneness temperatures, you have much less to worry about if you're grinding your own beef at home, so give it a shot. Whatever minor risks there are outweighed by the importance of enjoying a really delicious burger.
Those are fantastic tips. I think that he should not make the fries at home. I also think that if you put all those vegetables, my nephew Andrew is not gonna eat it. And besides that, the most important thing here that I would have done differently is the amount of fat. You need fat on a burger. You're not gonna eat a burger every single day, and if you do, you're kind of nuts. Whenever you're gonna eat it, make sure it's extremely juicy, and the best way to make a juicy burger is to have more fat. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see me and Andrew collaborate together. Brother, let's make it happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks Cooking Fever for sponsoring this video.
What's up, everybody? Today I got my good friend here, Ahmad from the Golden Balance. How did the Golden Balance came along?
My last name means the golden in Arabic, and I've been trying to find balance my whole life. So
haven't we all?
we haven't found it.
Are you ready?
I am.
This is going to be a good one because he's a beast.
He's a beast, but he seems like a good guy because he's always giving out food to people. So I like him.
And he's always smiling, always happy. All right, let's watch.
He does the stuff that Nick does. He just never looks at the food.
Yo, Nick, why do you always look only at the camera, huh? I think he's trying to be Guga Foods. Huh?
What,
with
like
the
a
fire.
flame? Yeah.
He's all about the B-roll, everybody. And what do you think that is, lamb or beef?
Most likely lamb.
Lamb?
Yeah, and turkey, most likely lamb. Onions, carrots, celery.
But the amount. You're not gonna go hungry after you eat this one, everybody, huh? Okay, he wins.
It's like this is like giving Middle Eastern fried rice.
Yeah, if you had the rice, that's it. It's all over for me.
He's putting carbs into more carbs. It doesn't get better than that.
Not only that, that looks so delicious. If there's one person that said that they will not eat that, there has to be vegan.
Every time he does something, it's big and grand, which I think is cool. I don't mind it because he's feeding people. It's not going to waste. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I respect that quite a bit.
Look, he's still smiling, not looking at the food.
He's always smiling.
But he's a cutie. I like it.
It's like one of those guys that you watch and then you want to go give a big hug.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No, he's good vibes.
So you know what that is that he's doing? It's kind of like the shank towards the end. There's a steak in Brazil that we call the capitão, which is like a Tom and Jerry steak. This is kind of tough, so I'm curious to see how he's gonna cook it. Yeah. Yo, that looks so good.
I feel like the sear is pretty average.
No, there's no sear whatsoever because he's basically boiling it in butter.
A lot of times when I go to the Middle East, that's what it lacks. A little bit of the technique of just like searing off the meat. But it looks great.
Damn.
He's making a steak sandwich.
What the hell is that? Like, where did that come from? I thought it was a dish. Now it's a burger? Like you said, not the best here.
Again, this is more of some food. Probably want to eat this compared to the last dish.
No, I think I would take the last dish probably. That's stunt food.
Yeah, because no one can wrap their mouth around that. And to be honest, it looks dry.
Yeah.
It really does.
No, 100%. So this is like the capitão steak, like I told you. I've cooked that before.
It's hard.
It's not the best, everybody. But I will say it's cool to cook.
Yeah. Right off the bat, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I see a couple skewers of kebab on the side.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
This already looks good.
Are you a fan of eggplant?
I love eggplant.
I only like it
eggplant.
in baba ganoush. That's it for me. Nothing else is okay. Not even how do you call the one with the rat?
Ratatouille.
Yeah, you like that?
Ratatouille, I think, is the most overrated dish in history.
You need a wee.
What did he add? Was that cheese?
That was cheese.
Cheese? Damn, that's gonna be good.
That looks really good. That texture, like, it's giving me like Korean corn dog a little bit. That looks really good to me.
Oh, he wins.
Yeah.
Again.
So bread, eggplant spread with cheese, meat. That's what I'm assuming. This is.
I could be without the eggplant though.
I think you're a hater.
Really?
Yeah. So he got a whole like leg of lamb. I don't even know what that is. That looks like a cow, maybe.
Are you crazy? What kind of lamb do you have?
That's what I'm saying. It's a cow.
What kind of a lamb you have in Michigan, bro? You have a lamb like that?
That's a lamb shank.
Yo, that lamb has been eating very well.
But that's a lamb shank, right? That does not look like a cow.
Yeah, it does.
You think that's a beef shank?
I think so. That's no way that's lamb, bro. Are you crazy?
That's a
no
cow.
way.
He's
deep frying it?
I think so. He's deep frying it in tallow. That looks good.
It looks big though. I can guarantee you the meat's still completely raw. Oh no, he cooked it first. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he slow cooked.
Is that rice?
I'm not sure, but that looks really good. I
No,
love
he
ketchup. He
messed it up.
ruined it.
Why
He
he put
ruined
the
it.
ketchup in there?
I love
No.
ketchup, but he just ruined it.
Trying to show that it's nice and tender, but it's not that juicy.
I don't think you deep fried a whole beef shank for the crust. I don't know. I feel like that's a waste of time. The chicken looks really good.
Not gonna lie, I will eat that.
Yeah,
you give that to me, I'll eat it, even with the ketchup.
I just don't like when the ketchup gets drizzled like that.
I don't
it's
like
just
ketchup.
so unappetizing.
Do you like ketchup?
I love ketchup,
No,
but
I
not
don't
like that.
ketchup. The only time I eat ketchup is with popcorn.
What?
Yeah, it's a thing.
No, you're trolling.
It's a thing in Brazil.
Guga, cut the whole fucking video.
No,
Take
I'm
that
serious.
back.
No, it's good. Today's sponsor is Cooking Fever, the world's largest cooking-themed mobile game. You can become a master chef by cooking delicious meals and desserts from all over the world. The game has over 30 unique restaurants from various topics and cuisines, each with a unique game mechanic, so it's never boring. Today, like every day, I got the Cooking Fever, baby. Now the game is opening the newest location, TGI Fridays Restaurant. With Cooking Fever, I can run my own restaurant and practice my skills in a variety of settings and cooking techniques as I progress through the game. As I complete levels, I receive coins and can upgrade my restaurant and try all the cool kitchen appliances. Check it out. And the best part is that I can play Cooking Fever everywhere. This game is fun, challenging, perfectly relaxing, and free. Click the link in my description box or use the QR code here to download Cooking Fever straight to your phone right now. So what are you waiting for? Manage your own TGI Fridays restaurant in Cooking Fever? Check it out here and let me know what you think. Let's check out this TGI Fridays menu. Oh, this looks good. I'm kind of craving a snack like some of their delicious fries. I'm thinking I'm going to cook this in-game and in real life. To start playing Cooking Fever, which I highly recommend, click the link on the description below or scan the QR code here. Thanks for the inspiration and fun, Cooking Fever. Check them out, guys, because now let's get right back to it.
All right, right off the bat, you know what that is?
This is a stomach?
Stomach lining.
Yeah. Is this gonna make kokoresh? You know what is kokoresh?
Yes.
I had it in Turkey. Bro.
That looks like how beef Wellington should look.
Say that again. Hey, say that again.
That is exactly how they do it.
That looks
Then they
amazing.
finish it off on like a griddle. That's
You have to understand that all that fat and like that butteriness has been getting seeped into the meat for so long, and there's so much flavor there, even though it looks bland, but it's really good.
No.
Yeah,
This,
it's not
but not that size, obviously. Normal. You know, he's making it for a
Place where people are definitely in need of food.
100%.
And I appreciate this.
100. This is
baseline. This is good vibes.
Yes.
Whatever.
That's it.
Yes.
Freshly baked like that.
That looks amazing.
Wow,
Yeah, that
everybody.
looks
I had that when I was in Turkey.
yeah.
Oh my God. what do you call this? Doner, or do you call it?
In Turkey, it's doner, but it's shawarma.
Shawarma, right?
But most of Middle Eastern foods are stem from Turkey. They're the OGs. That looks. Yeah, that's making me hungry.
I will eat that, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can eat the whole sandwich, but I will try.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Is that French fries?
Hell yeah.
He's making a sandwich, a big shawarma.
That sandwich is not fat-free, baby.
And the ratio of meat to bread is a W.
Amazing. Can we give him a big hand? This is a 10 out of 10. We'll definitely recommend. Some was stunt food, but a lot of them were just like, I will eat every single one of them. Yeah. Guys, make sure you go give some love to my friend Ahmad. The link will be in the description. Thanks for being here, brother.
Appreciate you, Guga.
I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Thanks ZBiotics for sponsoring this video.
On today's video, we are going to be reacting to the master of barbecue, Franklin himself. And I got the perfect guy here, Jeremy, to judge with me. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Oh, this is gonna be good, everybody. If you guys are not familiar with Franklin Barbecue or Franklin himself,
I've called him Barbecue Jesus before because everybody who's into barbecue knows who he is. And if it wouldn't have been for Franklin being popular, I probably wouldn't be in barbecue today. So we'll see how it stands the test of time.
And this is what they call a packer cut brisket. This is what you'll get at the grocery store. Still, this is the flat, this is the point, lean part, fatty part.
That's funny that he says that you get in a grocery store. He's in Texas, everybody. It is almost impossible to find something like that here in Miami. How about you? Where you at?
You can find it sometimes at a grocery store, but if you do, they're almost always select or a really horrible quality.
You put so much love and passion on a brisket, and it's such a long cook. If you're gonna cook it, cook the best one you can find.
And briskets are a lot easier to trim up if they're cold. If you let them warm up too much, if you let it sit out on the counter, then the fat will get real hard to cut through.
You agree with that statement?
100%.
This part right here, this is the decal that goes underneath right in here. So I'm gonna kind of cut this down.
A brisket is so uneven. You do everything you can in trimming to make it as even as possible. So you don't have one part of the brisket that's this thick and another part that's this thick.
This is where the heat's gonna be coming from on the cooker. So you definitely wanna leave plenty of fat there to kind of protect it.
Is he tossing everything?
I think it's going to be repurposed for sausage or to make tallow or something like that. But with the volume of beef that they go through cooking 100 plus briskets a day, they're going to have to find purpose for everything that they trim off, because otherwise they're throwing away thousands of dollars every single day.
I agree 100%. We never throw it away because there's always something else to do.
There's a huge layer of fat that goes through there. And if you flip it over, it'll manifest itself right here. And we definitely don't want that, because there's no way that's gonna turn out good.
I use that for burgers. I grind that up and it's totally okay, to me at least.
That, we don't wanna carve any more into this brisket than that. It's kind of aerodynamic. It's enough where the smoke will come.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that way of trimming.
Okay, so there's this phenomenon in barbecue where if Aaron Franklin said a thing one time, it becomes gospel truth, right? Because he really popularized barbecue for a lot of the people who are in the hobby now. And he said aerodynamic. I think what he means is you don't want small pieces jutting out that are going to burn. You want to reduce the surface area so that it stays as juicy as possible.
The other thing is there's a lot of silver skin on the bottom of this. If I was only doing 1 or 2 briskets, I definitely would trim this. If I was doing a competition, I would also very much trim this.
All the fat on the underside, unless it's really thick, like you could grab it with your hands, I don't even mess with it. Because on offset cookers, there's so much airflow that it's going to render out. It's actually going to protect the meat side. I don't even bother with it.
A lot of briskets, if you'll look right here, it's got a huge gash in there. That came from the processing plant where this thing came from.
Don't you hate when that happens?
It's the worst, because a lot of times those gashes you can't see in the package.
It's the worst.
It's so annoying.
This thing's trimmed up. We got about a 1/4 inch of fat all the way across. It's looking good. That's trimmed out. It's shaped real nicely. I think we're ready to put some rub on it. A lot of people have really complex rubs. A lot of people put chili powder, cumin, paprika, all kinds of stuff. The way we roll here in Central Texas, it's half salt and half pepper.
Is that true, Jeremy?
Most places in Central Texas, in my experience, they'll say, oh, we do salt and pepper. You should understand that to mean, oh, we're using a seasoned salt and black pepper. That's how I interpret it, unless I'm told specifically otherwise. And nobody's obligated to give up their secrets.
I agree, 100%. They should guard it completely, and there's nothing wrong of not telling it. But when we taste it, at least me,
It's about their skill and the method that they
100%.
use and paying attention to those small details that sets them apart from, you know, Joe Blow who's just cooking a brisket for the 3rd time.
You want to keep this thing moving. The granules of the salt are a lot heavier than the pepper, so the salt's going to settle to the bottom. So you want to kind of keep it going.
Do you do that, Jeremy? Do you mix the salt and pepper together? Because I feel like I never get it right and it always sinks to the bottom. So I like to put it individually.
I used to do that, but when you're doing a huge volume, I'm gonna have big shaker bottles. I'm gonna fill them about 1/3 of the way up with black pepper, 1/3 of the way with salt, and then have room to shake it, season the whole thing. Then on the fat side, I add a little bit of seasoned salt.
A lot of people put a whole lot of rub on a brisket. In my opinion, that it's better to go a little conservative on how much rub. You really want the flavor of the meat to shine through. You know, this is barbecue. You can put a lot of rub on something, cook in the oven, and get whatever flavor you want, but it's salt and pepper. It's super simple. I feel pretty strongly about that.
With barbecue rubs, I think people tend to overdo it, and so what you can get is kind of almost a sandy texture when it's done, and I'm not a fan of that at all. I want the seasoning to be integrated into the bark. It's almost like it sinks into the fat on the top, and then each bite is like this smoky, juicy goodness that you like.
I think the biggest mistake people make across the board is just putting too much rub on this stuff. I don't want it to be cakey, and I don't want it to be overpowering when it's finished. So that right there, in my opinion, is a perfectly rubbed brisket.
One thing I want to say is that if it hadn't been for this video and videos like it, I would have been doing competition style barbecue at home probably forever. What he was doing was showing people how Central Texas barbecue restaurants cook food. And so for that, I'll be forever grateful because I started trying to mimic this and kind of discovered the style of barbecue that I most like.
I'm 100% with you because before I cooked my first brisket, I watched this video 1,000 times. Even though it was gonna be sous vide.
Cooker's hot, I'm gonna put it on. So I'm putting the brisket on right now. We got a firebox on this side.
How you like that smoker?
He's not using that at the restaurant, but that is an old country Pecos, and I had a similar smoker, but look at the size of that brisket on there. That thing is humongous. It's the size of the smoker, man.
Yeah. There he goes. Goes to tell you, everybody, you don't need something expensive in order to make something great. That's why most of the time I use a Weber.
Knowledge is far more valuable than equipment.
There you go. Couldn't have said any better.
So the fire is gonna come up here, it's gonna go across here, underneath, on top, swirl around, do all kinds of stuff, and go out the smokestack. I'm gonna put a water pan in here. And that's gonna keep a lot of moisture in the cooking chamber. It's gonna help it not burn quite so easily.
First time I smoked a brisket, I also used that. Do you still use that today?
No. So in the configuration that it's in right there, you actually don't want to do it that way because it forces those hot gases underneath the water pan and you burn the meat side of your brisket. But because it's the meat side, it's the underside, you can't see it. And so it's not until you pull it off to wrap it, you see, oh, the entire bottom is black and burned. No! Ask me how I know that happened.
We learn from our mistakes. Let's just say that.
A good rule of thumb to go by for how long a brisket's gonna cook is generally about 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes per pound. For this brisket, I always kind of calculate about 12 hours. If I'm gonna serve it at 5 p.m., I'm gonna start it at 5 o'clock a.m.
If it's gonna take 12 hours to cook, you're gonna wanna start it way before 12 hours because you're gonna wanna let it rest. You're not gonna wanna take a brisket off the smoker at 200 degrees and slice it immediately.
No.
Because all the juice is gonna run out, it's gonna begin to oxidize.
Are you a believer of a longer rest time makes it better or shorter?
100% a longer rest. When I started resting briskets for 8, 12 hours, my briskets improved. And from that point on, long rests are the only way.
Long rest. Is there a limit?
A good rule of thumb, instead of 12 hours before you want to serve it, cook it 24 hours before and then have 12 hours of cooking, about 12 hours of resting, and you're going to be happy.
Yep, Franklin Barbecue is the god of barbecue. But before moving forward, let me thank today's sponsor, ZBiotics. One of the main reasons I barely drink is because I hate the feeling the very next morning. But ZBiotics is here to help. The first time I tried it, I went to one of those fancy pairing dinners where they pair a different glass of wine with each entree. It was 8 courses. I drank a bottle of ZBiotics before, and I was really impressed how good I felt the next day. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to help you feel better the morning after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. This year, I want to form more sustainable, better drinking and fitness habits. This is not an all or nothing approach. ZBiotics allows me to enjoy nights out in moderation while working towards my goals. Go to zbiotics.com/Guga or scan the QR code on screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use Guga at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/Guga and use the code Guga at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get right back to it.
Here's a little term people throw around. It's called, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. And that's very much true. If the lid's open, you're losing heat, you're losing smoke. It's gonna take a certain amount of time to recover that heat. And that really gets people in trouble a lot of times when they're getting impatient and meat's not cooking on time, dinner's about to get served, people are showing up to the house and it's just not ready yet. You keep on checking it, you keep on checking it, but the truth is, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Is that true?
It's true, and there's a wrinkle where it is important to take a look to make sure you're not burning anything. But one thing he's saying that's very true is when you open the lid, not only are you not cooking the brisket further, you're actually going backwards. So if you have a lid open for 10 minutes, it takes you 20 minutes just to get back where you were before you opened the lid.
Wow.
So it's very important.
The biggest key to having a good brisket or a good rack of ribs or a good chicken or a good anything you're cooking on a barbecue is fire management. I guarantee that if you keep a good steady temperature, it's gonna cook way faster and more consistently across the board.
If somebody were to be your friend and is gonna cook, which one would you recommend?
I usually recommend pellet cookers for most people.
I agree, it's just so much more convenient. Set it and forget it, babe. Come back later and you're ready, you're good to go.
There's a lot of different ways to retain moisture in a brisket or anything else you're cooking. One way that I really like is to have a water pan in there. I always keep a water pan unless the humidity is really high, and sometimes it gets like that here in Texas. But elsewhere, it may not. Always keep a water pan. Other ways are spritzing, mopping.
Are you a believer of spritzing?
If the cook is going properly the way I want, no need to spritz. But, oh no, it got a little hot, that's starting to get a little crispy, I'm gonna have to spray that exposed meat. You know, I just let it get away from me a little bit. But if the cook is perfect, just let it do its thing.
So to wrap or not to wrap, I really try not to wrap, but sometimes you just have to.
I like to take the bark of my brisket a little crunchier than I actually want it, and then I wrap it up, usually with butcher paper and tallow, and then soften it back up to just the right level.
Yeah, when it becomes crunchy and it's nice, and I always think it's a little bit too crunchy, but then when you wrap it, it becomes soft again.
So you could either burn a really clean fire and not wrap it, you could use butcher paper, or you could use foil. Here in Texas, using foil is called a Texas crutch. I don't like to use it, but it's gonna retain a lot of moisture in there. It's gonna steam itself, and you could really cook a lot faster.
I love it because of that. You can cook it a lot faster, everybody. After you're outside for 6 hours, 8 hours, you go like, God, can we just be done with it? Guilty, right?
We've been there, yeah.
That's why I like it.
Also, the time that you decide to wrap is going to have a lot to do with how your fire's burning. A lot of times I won't wrap at all. I could finish off a whole brisket in 12, 13 hours and not wrap it once until it's finished. But this one, for this episode, we're going to wrap it. It's looking just about right.
Couple things. First of all, I don't think that's the same brisket. I would bet a lot of money that brisket has been swapped out. I think that brisket that went on was humongous. This one is small.
It's not the same brisket, Jeremy. It's not the same brisket.
I don't think so.
So normally what I do, I put my paper like that, kind of wrap it up, cup that around the point, put that paper folded along the whatever the actual angle of the flat is. Roll it over once, tighten it up, roll over a second time.
Are you a believer that tighter is better?
Yeah, I think if you wrap it loosely, you have a lot of exposed surface area, and that paper wicks out moisture like a candle wick, pulls it out, and then you have a lot of evaporative cooling, and it slows down the cook process.
Hasn't been wrapped a real long time. I kind of flop it down. Yes, you may wonder, this brisket would be really hot, and it's true. I don't really have any nerve endings in my hands anymore.
One thing that is true is like the real OG Texas pit masters, they check for doneness by feeling the meat side of the brisket. So Joe checks briskets that way. I'm like, I don't know what kind of witchcraft that is. Give me a thermometer and I'm gonna be poking and prying.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I can tell. And then you know how they say like medium rare?
Rare's here, opposite the palm, at the top. Medium is there, and well done is at the top of your wrist.
That doesn't work for me either.
We're gonna let it rest for about an hour, or at least until it's cool enough where you could get your hand under there comfortably and it doesn't burn too badly. I like to cut it, and I kind of hold it, and you never want to scrape off the fat or the bark. We work really, really hard to render fat, and we work really, really hard to keep a good bark, and I don't want to cut it off. It's the best part. And this, when you're cutting these, it's the end cut, but you can always tell That's what a brisket should look like. Should have a smoke ring like that.
What you see there and those muscle fibers separating, it's a little over. It happens. We've all done it. We've all been there. But I remember seeing this and thinking, oh, that's the pinnacle of food. What I wouldn't give to have a bite of that brisket.
You see? We've learned a lot through the years, huh?
So that's a really good looking slice. It should look moist too. It shouldn't be tough. When you're looking for a brisket, it shouldn't fall under its own weight, but you should be able to pull it delicately.
I remember watching that and I was like, man, that's the Bible, you know?
Yeah, because before I got into barbecue, I'd never had any meat that did that, of any kind.
Right.
And so I thought, oh, if someday, if I can do that once, I will have arrived.
Keeping it all held together so it'll stay moist and won't oxidize on the edge of the slices. This is the fatty half, the point. You're gonna turn it 90 degrees. And I'm gonna cut right down the middle. And this...
No. Don't do that. Start at one end of the point and move over to the other end and you'll have even slices. Your life will be so much easier.
Pro tip.
And in a perfect world, if you wanted to get crazy, you could do burn-ins. And this is where the burn-ins would come from, right there.
If you had to choose, which piece would you eat?
The piece he's got in his left hand right now. I was looking at him like, I want to get some of that.
I want to eat that one, not the slice. Forget the slice.
I'm not hungry, but my mouth is watering looking at that right now.
This is the best part of the whole cow, right here.
I disagree. Not the whole cow, maybe the brisket.
Okay, what's the best part of the cow?
Picanha, 100%. If you put a brisket next to me and you put a picanha, come on, Jeremy, which one is better?
I take the brisket.
Oh.
I think it's time to eat. Getting really, really hungry. It's been a while. Give me a couple little burn-ins in there. Yarr.
I've been to his restaurant, and at the restaurant, it looks 10 times better than that, and it is phenomenal, everybody. What do you think, Jeremy?
When I've been there, everything looks glistening and juicy, and it just makes you think like this is going to be the juiciest, most tender meat you've ever eaten, and it looks dark. The bark is basically black, and for me, my idea in my head of what a brisket should be is the brisket at Franklin Barbecue, because I had it, and it was the best I'd ever had.
I agree. That's why he's the king of barbecue. Is that a fair statement?
I think so.
Yeah. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys go check out Jeremy. Everything will be on the link in the description down below. Let us know if you guys agree with us or disagree. I'm sure some people will disagree.
For sure.
Go some barbecue, everybody. Go have some. It's pretty good.
Agreed.
See you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.